Drop is the latest thriller from director Christopher Landon, and it's finally on the big screen. We've seen that trailer so many times, I was kind of getting tired of seeing it. That's how often it was playing every time I would go to the theater. But in today's review, we're going to ask ourselves the hard-hitting questions. Is this possibly one of the worst first dates in movie history? That will be answered today. Thank you guys so much for stopping by the channel and checking out this review. My name is Adam of Almost Sideways. We are going to be discussing the film Drop from director Christopher Landon, and I enjoyed some of his works here. I think he's a very talented director. He has done a really fun movie in 2020 called Freaky with Vince Vaughn and Catherine Newton. Another fun franchise film that he has kicked off is Happy Death Day, and that stars Jessica Roth, a really talented director that has a really great premises and great setups to a lot of his films. So, of course, excited to discuss this film. Drop stars Megan Faye from White Lotus Season 2 fame and Brandon Sklar from It Ends With Us. The film does follow Megan Faye's character of Violet as she is leaving for her first date. She has a 5-year-old son at home and her sister's watching him. She goes to this fine dining restaurant and meets a man named Henry. And on this date, she starts getting drops from a mysterious person on the other end. And essentially, these drops lead to the big action that she needs to accomplish, and that is kill her date. And while she's trying to figure out how to kill him and try to keep her son safe, she is, trying to maneuver this restaurant and also try to unravel the mystery of who's sending these drops here. Before I drop my thoughts, takes, and opinions on this film, make sure you guys share your opinions on the film in the comments section down below. Would love to have a lively conversation down there. If you love this kind of content, make sure you just think about dropping a like, share, and subscribe on it as well. That greatly helps out the channel here. First things first here is Christopher Landon's direction. I dig this guy's style and the vibe of his films. I loved Happy Death Day. Happy Death Day to You, while not as effective a thriller, but still a fun time. And Freaky, of course, being a really fun COVID watch and got me back in the theater back in 2020 as well. So I will always hold that movie with some fondness. I feel like the vibes of those movies have transitioned and kind of prepared them for this kind of singular location set piece. There's other location at the very end of the movie and the beginning of the movie, but primarily it's focused in this fine dining restaurant, a fine dining location that seems like a really cool, fun, hip place to go out for dinner. And if it was a real place, who knows, I might take my wife out there one day. So I kind of like that kind of setup here. And being in a location and in a setting that we've never seen before, it sets up for a very interesting premise. Of course, having a setup where this person's getting mysterious airdrops, it could be the killer could be anywhere. So having this character of Violet trying to figure out what's going on and who's actually sending these drops, and without giving any details to her date, I think that stuff is really entertaining. Does this movie make the most sense logically? Absolutely not, but it's a really fun turn off your brain and just enjoy the silliness and craziness and dumb fun energy that this movie does provide. And there is a lot of dumb fun energy that Christopher Landon's movies do give us, and I'm all on board for it. I think certain vibes and the way people direct movies can really set the tone if it's going to make or break your likeness for this film. And for me, I knew what I was getting myself into before I even sat down in the theater last night. So really enjoyed just the experience of watching this movie. I think Megan Faye does a really great job as Violet. She really emotes the great emotional beats that you really want to see from a mother who is also struggling with her past relationships and domestic violence that she did go through here. And so seeing her trying to translate and emote a lot of different emotions throughout the runtime, I thought she did a really great job. And again, she was fantastic in White Lotus Season 2, so seeing her in another project, I was all on board for. And also Brandon Sklar, who I didn't even realize was from It Ends With Us until my wife had said so. I thought he did a really good job. I think he was a very kind of charismatic lead, and a very interesting character just by the way he speaks. I think he's somebody that I really would like to watch more films for. I think the chemistry between the two leads, Brandon and Megan, I thought they were really good, well done, and it had to be because it was a first date type of movie. And seeing some of their backstory play out in the movie, I thought that was really fun and entertaining as well. Of course, we do have a lot of other cast and characters. We have an awesome bartender. We have a crazy douchebaggy kind of piano player, and we have this waiter played by Jeffrey Self, who is named Matt, and he is completely in a different movie, but it kind of works in this world because it's already outrageous enough, and you have this guy who's first day on the job, and this is their first date, so he has a lot of punnage there, and also having this just outrageous like waiter, and you can relate as a viewer, you can relate to the people in the movie because may or may not have had an experience with kind of an awkward waiter, and that you just don't vibe personally with. So having this completely over the top performance by Jeffrey Self, again as Matt, was pretty awesome. I there was a lot of times where I was like, oh my god, this guy's totally like a punchable face, like what movie are you in type of character, but I'm all on board for it. It's really funny. I had a lot of fun chuckles in the theater with this. As the movie slowly progresses and Violet is trying to figure out a way to communicate the best she can and start slowly unraveling the mystery, the film really points towards one person being the main person. Of course, there's a twist there. And then once it's revealed who the person is, it's kind of like, oh, okay, that makes sense at this point in time. And when the film actually got around to finally revealing who was sending these drops to Violet, initially I was kind of like, oh, that's who it is. It kind of makes total sense now once you kind of play the movie back in your head. However, I still enjoyed myself throughout the runtime. So even that little initial disappointment level, still enjoyed myself quite a bit. However, there are some things that, while not perfect at all in this movie, and it kind of just overall wanted to play out a little differently, I really compare this movie to last year's Trap from M. Night Shyamalan. I thought, regardless of what you thought of the film Trap, I think the segments inside that concert in the movie Trap were really fun and entertaining. However, when we got outside of the concert venue, that's where the movie kind of really falls apart for me. And in this movie, it's kind of the same beats. Obviously, we have a lot of stuff going on with Violet's kid and her sister at home. So once we eventually got outside this restaurant and into the home stuff, it's kind of like, it's complete. It feels different. It feels more like an action kind of home invasion movie, which I enjoy. Home invasion movies, I think Don't Breathe and Us are really top-notch levels for that style. There's other ones, of course, but for that, it just loses a little bit of steam for the closing, and it wraps up with a nice little bow on top for the final shots of the movie. However, I'm not hindered my entertainment level because I think that this is one of the more entertaining, dumb, fun films. And the movie I couldn't help but draw a comparison from is Netflix Carry On, because that movie had no right being as good as it was. And this film is very similar. This movie has a lot of fun things that are happening with it, and should not be as good as it is, or shouldn't be as entertaining as it is. I'm at 3 stars out of 4 for this movie, and I find that it was a really enjoyable date night movie with the wife. So if you guys have a significant other and you think this is be a fun movie that you both will enjoy, definitely go enjoy the movie. Heck, go by yourself and enjoy this. I think this is a really fun, entertaining film, to say the least. And to circle back around, is this one of the worst first dates in movie history? Honestly, I would probably say yes. If I was Henry in this situation, and I would have left a long time ago. Honestly, there's several things that happen in this movie. We're like, why isn't he leaving? This guy's the most patient guy ever, or the most understanding guy. I honestly would have probably dipped out a long time ago. However, the movie has Henry being a really patient, understanding guy, and it worked out in the end for Henry and Violet. But again, I enjoyed this type of movie, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Christopher Landon does next in the next one. So, all right. Well, that's my thoughts, takes, and opinions on the film Drop. Did you guys like this movie as much as I did? If not, let me know in the comments section down below that you disagreed with me. If you guys liked this movie review here, think about dropping a like, share, and subscribe here on the channel, and also check out our podcast, Almost Sideways Movie Podcast, for longer episodes and more fun conversations. So again, my name is Adam. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Until next time, I will see you later.